Hello everyone and welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Peace be to you, my friends. Have you considered that perhaps you might be overstimulated? Maybe you feel anxious, depressed, bored, burnt out, lacking motivation. All of these are connected to being overstimulated. We have so many things that stimulate us, our brains these days. And if you're not careful, you can get addicted. You can be a slave to dopamine rather than a master of your dopamine. See, there are so many things that we use just to get that dopamine hit. For example, social media, scrolling, entertainment, YouTube, Netflix, food, drugs, drinks, alcohol, cigarettes, pornography, video games, and the list goes on and on. You pick your drug of choice. And there is such a thing called dopamine fasts or stimulus control of stimulation, or even digital detoxing. I've been on those, and I realized that it was so beneficial that I've decided to make it my way of life, to not be constantly stimulated. Because even the things that you love, like music for example, can be overstimulating. If you listen to it a lot and all the time without stopping, that stimulates your brain in such a way that we are not meant to be stimulated that much. We are not meant to be getting dopamine hits all the time. So here's the thing: when you are a slave to dopamine rather than a master of your dopamine, you get a hit from wherever it is. Let's say social media, you through scrolling, or entertainment through Netflix. You get that hit, and then after that you feel a low, and then you crave another hit. You go for that hit again, and then you get another low, and then you crave it, and so on and so forth. The cycle goes on. But you can put an end to the cycle. Why not try going on a dopamine fast, digital detox, stimulus control? It could be very helpful for you. You never know how good it will be. See, the thing is, so long as we want that instant dopamine, we will be desensitized to life, because that is what happens to us when we are instantly always getting dopamine hits from everywhere, easily. We're looking for that pleasure, and we don't want to do things that are painful. And so when we do that, we get desensitized to life. We lose our ability to enjoy the simple pleasures of life. And so when you go on a dopamine fast or a digital detox, or just control the amount of stimulus that you get, if you do that, you become sensitive to life again. You start to enjoy the simple pleasures of life. You start to enjoy things like reading, meditating, just being quiet, or nature. You start to enjoy a conversation more than before. You value the simple things in life. But if you are always stimulated, you may have these things and you may say, well, I have them, I value them. But in reality, you won't be enjoying them to the extent that is possible without being overly stimulated. In other words, if you're overly stimulated, constantly getting those dopamine hits, constantly succumbing to your craving for dopamine, then you won't be able to enjoy the simple pleasures of life in the way that they can be experienced. And so that's why dopamine fast, that's why digital detox, that's why stimulus control. You may find that after going on such a journey of dopamine fasting? Well, in reality, there's no such thing as dopamine fast because you can't shut off that part of your brain that creates dopamine. But what you can control is the amount of stimulus you get. So that's what I mean by dopamine fast. And you never know how good it will be for your health, for your well-being. Personally, I can tell you that the moment I stopped using entertainment, and I loved entertainment. I didn't use social media. I've been off social media for so long. But let's say I use YouTube, I use Netflix. And at the moment I stopped that, I realized something. My anxiety dropped. I felt more calm, more centered, more relaxed. And even with music, I stopped listening to music. And I felt everything just slowed down in a good way. Because when you're overly stimulated, everything is like, ooh, you become hyperactive. And everything, so much is going on. Even though you're just in your room, in your bed scrolling, your mind is like, whoa, there's so much going on. So you can't handle that. You're not meant, our biology isn't built to be that stimulated. Our biology isn't built for the technology that we have today. I'm not against technology. I love it. I use this camera. I use the internet. I use my laptop to post this. I use YouTube to create content, and we all get connected. That's great. I get to improve other people's lives and so on. But we can't be slaves to our dopamine, to our technology. We have to be in control. So could it be that you are just overly stimulated? You may think you are anxious. You may think you are hyperactive. You may think you are depressed. You may think you are bored. But could it be that you're overly stimulated? That is a possibility. And if you just control the amount of stimulus that you get, at first you may feel it's hard. You still feel the withdrawal effects. You still feel a little anxiety. You still feel bored without your entertainment, without social media or whatever. You still feel that irritation, that restlessness, but it goes away if you persist after a couple of days, depending on how addicted you are and how much stimulation you're getting. So try it out. See how good it can feel to just be alive, to just enjoy the simplicity of life, the simple pleasures of life. That's the way we were meant to live. We were not meant to be this hyperactive creature that is always trying to achieve something beyond themselves just to prove a point, or just to, be seen as worthy in the eyes of the world. And we're not meant to be distracted by so many things. See, all of this, what I'm saying, makes sense if you just cut off the stimulus. Control the amount of stimulation. Let go of that impulse, that need. I crave that dopamine. I'm bored. I need to watch something. I need to scroll. I need to drink something. Just let go of that impulse. With time, it'll get easier, and your life, the quality of your life will be better. The quality of your mind, your internal world will be way, way better. You will live a better life, I'm telling you. Your anxiety levels will drop. You will be able to enjoy the simple pleasures of life. You will have more energy. You won't be dreading life so much. You'll have more energy, trust me. That's my message for you today. Thank you for listening. Oh yeah, and for my books, I got fiction books and for my coaching services, information on that, or on how to support me and my channel, all of that information is in the description box below. Wishing you peace, love, and joy. I'll see you next time. Peace.